The Dalliance of the Eagles by Walt Whitman. Skirting the river road, my forenoon walk, my rest. Skyward in air, a sudden muffled sound, the dalliance of the eagles, the rushing amorous contact high in space together. The poet had gone out for his forenoon walk to relax, and he was skirting the river road. Just notice the use of alliteration, river road. Then suddenly, when he looked up, he heard a sudden muffled sound. It was the sound of two eagles, and he describes the interaction between those eagles as the dalliance of the eagles. Dalliance means a casual romantic or sexual relationship. The poet is personifying eagles here. He's describing the interaction between two eagles as a fling or a mating act. In a way, he's saying that they were making love. This is shown by the use of the words amorous contact in the next line. Amorous means erotic or sexual, and contact means interaction. So he's describing the interaction between the two eagles as rushing amorous contact high in space together. The rushing has a dual meaning here. Rushing implies the speed at which those two eagles were moving, and it also implies the intensity of emotions. The meter used in this poem is trochee pentameter. X here indicates the stressed syllable, while U indicates the unstressed syllable. The clinching, interlocking claws, a living, fierce, gyrating wheel, four beating wings, two beaks, a swirling mass, tight grappling in tumbling, turning, clustering loops, straight downward falling. The poet here is trying to describe the entire scene to the reader by the use of metaphors like gyrating wheel, swirling mass, loops. A living, fierce, gyrating wheel is a metaphor that's been used to imply the speed at which the two eagles were rotating in the air. The two eagles have interlocked their claws into each other's so much that instead of two separate birds, they are looking four beating wings, two beaks of a single bird. Here, a swirling mass has been used to indicate the closeness of those two eagles. Tumbling, turning, clustering loops has been used to indicate the same thing. It is important to note here that the poet has used many verbs as adjectives like clinching, swirling, gyrating, tumbling, turning, clustering to create the imagery of constant motion. Till over the river poised the twain yet one, a moment's lull, a motionless still balance in the air, then parting, talons loosing, upward again on slow, firm pinions slanting their separate diverse flight. She hers, he his, pursuing. We twain, the couple of eagles, keeps falling downward till they are over the river. The moment they are over the river, there is a moment's lull, there is inactivity, and motionless they hover in the air. Thereafter, they disentangle their talons, their claws, and they separate from each other. Then the two eagles slant their pinions, their flight feathers, and they take a flight up in the sky again. But their ways of taking a flight is very diverse, very different from each other's. She follows her own way of flight and he follows his own. It is important to note the use of pronouns here. She and he, hers and his. The use of these pronouns implies that this poem is an allegory. An allegory is a story or tale in which there are two levels of meaning. One is the literal meaning and the other is the symbolic meaning. So the literal meaning is here is about two eagles making love, but the symbolic meaning is of two lovers. A young man and a young woman are infatuated with each other. They get into a relationship and there is intensity of emotions. However, there is a lull in the relationship. They are no longer crazy about each other the way they were before. So, what they decide is to go separate ways because their paths are very different. They're very different people. If you like this video, please subscribe for more such videos.